Pilots, the wait is over. The newest thing from Freewing is officially here, the F-14 Tomcat twin 64mm. It is awesome, and I cannot wait to show you this. Let's get this over to the field. Let's get it up for a flight. After that, we'll tell you all about this new model. All right, pilots, taking off the brand new Freewing F-14 Tomcat twin 64mm. Here we go. Light the burners. Gear up, okay. Guys, this thing is amazing. Anybody that's ever had the big one, it was a sweet airplane, but there is something about the way this one flies that I just cannot explain to you how good it is. Wing sweep. You can sweep whenever you want. He is just awesome though. With the wings in, wings out, however you do it. Let's go for a wing pass, here we go. It's just happy with it. Going for an alpha pass, here we go, slowing it down. You heard me right, I said high alpha pass with an F-14. Box stop. Wings coming out. Slow pass. Just gliding. I freaking love this thing. Oh man. Customers are going to be loving this airplane. Up for a roll. Sweep the wings in the roll. All right, we got to get that hot pass right down the runway, wing swept. We're out at Miramar for Top Gun. Here it comes. Talk to me, Goose. This is a bad idea, Mav. Woo! Oh my gosh. It smokes with the wings in too. But it's so funny because now, bring her around, powering back, get that alpha going. You know, it's not going to go crazy high alpha or nothing, but power coming in, wings coming out. I love it, guys. I love this thing. Standard 5,000 milliamp 6S pack, Admiral. Go, let's turn it out, show the belly. There's our timer, gear coming out. I like to land it on full flaps. Flaps are coming in. You definitely need to land with power. You cannot glide this jet in. Sink rate is pretty aggressive. Here we go, get it established. Add in about 10% throttle. Oh, oh, oh. I got her a little slow there. The good news is though, with that 1064 power system, man, you can punch it and get out of a lot of problems. As you saw there, I got her a little slow, but I was able to punch it and get out of it. Well guys, let's get this thing over to the bench and let's show you around the new F-14. Pilots, I'm so excited to be here with the new Freewing F-14. I know this is a model a lot of our customers are going to absolutely love. I've got around 30 flights on the aircraft now and really getting comfortable with it. And it's really cool now with all the mixing done in the board. Now you have your ailerons, you have your flaps that do not work. They disable themselves when the ailerons swing. It's just really well thought out on this. The wing plate is a little bit bigger on this one to go over the retracts to really stiffen them up. It's just really well thought out, and it flies so good on that included gyro right out of the box. Now, let's start going over some of the features and some of the setup tips that I have for you on the Freewing F-14 if you're going to be getting one. The first thing I want to talk about is the wing sweep. Now, the wing sweep just needs to be assigned to any 2-position switch. So if you flip it, you can see the wings will sweep and sweep back out. All right, so the cool thing with the flaps is the gyro is programmed to where if you have the wing swept, you can see I can flip my flap switch now and the flaps will not actuate. So this is already right out of the box done for you to where they're disabled. So if I leave the flaps down and flip the wings out, they'll come out and then the flaps are going to drop. So it automatically disables that for you on the function here, so you don't have to program that. It's really nice because whenever the wings are swept, you really don't want the flaps going up and down. So it's nice that they disable themselves automatically. Now, when the wings are swept, the ailerons are not disabled, but they don't move a lot, and it really doesn't matter on this one. I know on the larger aircraft, a lot of people like it when the aileron's disabled. On this one with the wings swept, you really can't tell a difference. I've been flying it a ton. Those videos you saw, I was high alphaing the airplane, doing rolls, putting the wings out with it coming out. It really doesn't affect it on this to have the ailerons. Now, one thing I did do different from box stock, and I do recommend you do the same, and this may be why it doesn't bother it, is I did go from the outermost hole to the innermost hole on my ailerons. Yeah, like I said, I did go from the outermost hole to the innermost hole on the ailerons themselves. For the elevators, I left them exactly how they are. Now, as you can see, when you put your aileron deflection in, you're gonna also get tail authority. Now, the other thing I will tell you, do not fly this at 100% throw on your first flight on your ailerons. This is way too much travel, especially when you flip the wings in. What I've been flying is 75% for my high, which is this much aileron travel, and 65 for my low. And I honestly stay in that 65 almost the entire flight. I hardly ever come out of it. That's plenty of aileron throw on this aircraft. Now for the elevator, I run this at 100% throw. And I highly recommend you start at 100% throw because it needs that elevator travel when you're at slower speeds. If you want to make a cut, or even do a flight mode for whenever you go wings swept, I could see that, but I really like it with a lot of throw, even with the wings swept, especially if you're gonna try and high alpha this jet. You need that tail authority on this aircraft. Now, the aircraft also comes with CNC aluminum landing gear. They are suspension struts. As you can see, if I push on it, they have suspension to them. And they really work well on the aircraft. The aircraft should be able to handle most grass strips as long as they're well maintained. Now, that being said, you never want anything that's taller than about half of the wheel for grass strips. If you go any higher than that, the plane's gonna have a hard time rotating, but it does have plenty of horsepower. The other thing I'd say is on a grass strip, take off with flaps on. That'll help you pop it off the ground and get it up in the air. The other cool thing with this model is it does have reverse thrust. In order to use that though, you're gonna need a 10-channel receiver. So in my case, I'm flying on an 8-channel today. All I had to do is just not plug in that reversing wire. But if you want to use it, you're gonna need 10 channel. It's just like all our other models. You simply plug that into an open channel and then assign that to a 2-position switch to have your thrust reversing. If your switch position is not in the position you want it, just reverse the channel and that will reverse which direction your reverse thrust comes on at. The aircraft also has little sensors and probes, pitot tubes all over it to really give it that scale fidelity that you've come to love and enjoy from here at Freewing. And I will say, I know a lot of guys probably are gonna be like, oh, twin 64. This thing has a ton of power and sounds fantastic right out of the box on that power system. And the other cool thing, if you're coming from the larger F-14 that we've sold, is you only need one battery now. This is flying on one 6S 5000 battery for the flights that you've seen out here. And I'm getting right at 3 minutes of useful throttle. And once that timer comes off, I go in and I land and I have had no issues with it. It's coming down right at storage voltage. Speaking of that, let's get you a battery report now. All right, so getting into the aircraft, it just has the one button to release the canopy. You can see I've been flying with my battery almost even with this. It's just a hair bit behind it. I have also flown it right even with it. You can shift it just a little ways in there and just be fine. So we have 33% or 379 a cell, right at storage voltage on this battery. So that's been perfect for me. Like I said, I've been doing right at that 3-minute flight time. Now let me pop the battery back in and we'll go over the CG. Now, for CG, you can see where I've got my battery right now. That's exactly where I've been putting it for my flights. But the cool thing, CG with the wings out and the gear down. You have CG marks, whoops, right here on the wings. So like I said, wings out, gear down, right there on it. And you can see it balances perfectly right there. So that's how you need to do your CG also. The aircraft also comes with the full Ordinance in the box for you. I don't have them on today, we were flying without it, but we do have some video of it flying with the Ordinance also. It really flies good with it. It definitely slows the aircraft down a little bit when you put the Ordinance on it, but it still flies really well with it on there. I do recommend probably your first flight, go on and leave them off and fly without it. You just have a little more punch and a little more vertical without them. So first flight, it's always nice to start working in the new aircraft without that extra drag on there. So the other cool thing on the F-14 is it has an included gyro built into it now. All you need to do is plug that gyro receiver wire that comes up with the rest of the loom to the front of the aircraft into any open channel and assign it to a 3-position switch. So -100, 0, +100 for your channel assignment, and that will give you all 3 modes of the gyro. You have off, stabilized, and then self-leveling, where the aircraft will always be trying to come back to self-leveled. Like I said, that's as simple as assigning that to any 3-position switch to use it. I would recommend having that plugged in. If you can't pick between it or thrust reverse, I always recommend having control of that gyro over thrust reverse. We lived for many years without it. You can just slow down by landing and rolling out. So it's a cool feature to have, thrust reversing, but if you have to pick one of the two because you only have 8 channels, pick the gyro selection. Well, all right, guys, this is the new Freewing twin 64mm F-14. I'm super excited to start seeing customers get them, start customizing them. I know this has been a customizing dream aircraft for a lot of people in the past, and now it's a little bit smaller, still has a great presence to it, but it'll fit in a lot more cars this way too. And I hope you guys really enjoy the new F-14 Tomcat. See you in the next video, whether it's land, sea, or air. Motion RC has what you want. Bye.